It is a Remembrance Day like no other as Canadians pause to honor the bravery of our veterans and the sacrifices they have made for this country. At the Cenotaph in Ottawa, there were just dozens of veterans and dignitaries on hand, including the Prime Minister and the Governor-General. For the first time ever, the Royal Canadian Legion asked people to watch the national ceremony virtually instead of attending in person because of the pandemic. At the London Cenotaph, this solemn day was also marked in a much different fashion than years past. There was no parade, no choir, no buses full of veterans watching nearby. But although at a distance the ceremony was not the same, the sentiments were. Here's CTV's Sean Irvin.
As the sun struck the Cenotaph just prior to 11 a.m., the fallen were remembered. Their sacrifices not forgotten in a pandemic that has changed everything.
It's a time when the entire world is a battlefield against a foe we cannot see.
While most followed public health advisories and watched the service online, about 200 chose to attend in person.
We asked Londoners to stay home, to stand on the front steps and to pay respect, to observe 2 minutes of silence.
The ceremony inside the barricaded area was limited to a few government representatives, organizers, and most notably veterans. Also in attendance, the Silver Cross mother, Carolyn Wilson, whose son, Trooper Mark Wilson, was killed in Afghanistan in 2006. The key participants sat in a physically distanced section of white chairs, including 100-year-old Alice Pasma. Her grandson was part of a crew that flew a Hercules aircraft over the Cenotaph at 11 a.m. in tribute to the fallen. Pasma knows the impact of war well. She survived Nazi occupation in Holland. So you know the struggle of war?
Oh, I know. I can tell you. From the first day to the last day.
Just 2 chairs away from Pasma, Canadian veteran Pete Schuessler, who was among the thousands of Canadians who liberated Holland in 1945.
Well, that we were freed to the Canadians, and that is very, very important.
While the crowd was limited, Londoner Bill Mills made sure his family was near the Cenotaph. His father, William Frederick, served on a Halifax bomber and later taught his children and grandchildren the value of remembrance.
We used to come down to the parades all the time, and he unfortunately passed away November 11th, 6 years ago. So it's kind of a pilgrimage.
In London, Sean Irvin,
CTVnews.london.ca streamed this morning's service from Victoria Park. If you did not have an opportunity to see it, we have it posted on our site. As Canadians were told not to gather this year, here's CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver with a look at how this country remembered the fallen.
Instead of tens of thousands standing shoulder to shoulder, a modest crowd spaced far apart gathered at the Cenotaph.
While we don't have the crowds today, I can feel the wishes of the Canadian people as they watch on television or online to try to be with us in some way. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful for that.
Today, physical distancing meant just dozens of veterans were invited, marking a more intimate Remembrance Day.
I'd like to see more veterans here, but I can understand that we have to limit because of COVID.
COVID-19 has pushed the military onto a new front line this year, with members sent to help the most vulnerable Canadians in overwhelmed long-term care homes.
We do what is necessary, as requested, asked of us by Canadians through the government, to defend Canadians. And defending Canadians sometimes means doing very atypical things. And defense against a pandemic counts.
Our distance from one another diminishes neither our gratitude nor the inspiration we draw from the example of these heroes.
Heroes represented today by Debbie Sullivan, the Silver Cross mother who lost her son, Christopher Saunders, 16 years ago. a non-traditional service more personal than public, representing a day of remembrance like no other.
They fought for us overseas and paid the ultimate price, and for the ones that have and the ones that have not paid the ultimate price but are still here, we want to honor them and respect what they did, and that's what we're doing today.
Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
And it was a scaled-down Remembrance Day ceremony in Woodstock as well. About 50 people, including veterans and dignitaries, attended the invite-only event. It was held indoors at Gough Hall in the community centre. Legion representatives say it may have been smaller in size, but the message of thanks to those who have served is as strong as ever.
We still, I think, managed to express our thanks and appreciation to those who served, still carrying on that tradition, the honor that we extend to those individuals.
A local pilot brought some joy to communities in our region today with a special flyover. Captain Derek Pasma and his Hercules military transport plane put on a few hundred Remembrance Day miles this morning. The Hercules made flyover in Toronto, Barrie, and Breslau before making its way through our region. Clinton got to see the Hercules first, then Strathroy, followed by London. Captain Pasma is from London, and a few weeks ago his friends pitched the idea of the Remembrance Day flyover, and then it took off.
And I think for just honoring, commemorating the troops, the fallen troops and the military today, the veterans. I know a lot of the legions aren't doing special activities, so what a perfect way for everybody, kids alike, to see one of our planes up in the sky.